Welcome to this explainer. You know, when we look at the harshest, driest environments on Earth, we usually see a dead end. But today, we're gonna completely flip the map. We are uncovering how seemingly impossible deserts actually hold the secrets to humanity's most resilient and innovative ancient societies. So, let's dive right into this. I want to start by asking you a question. Do you think of deserts as empty wastelands? I mean, when most of us picture a desert, we imagine this vast, silent sea of sand, right? A place so dry and unforgiving that nothing could possibly survive, let alone thrive. But I want you to challenge that preconceived notion for me right now. We tend to look at deserts through a very modern lens, as barren, empty, and deadly landscapes. But history tells a completely different story. For thousands of years, these seemingly impossible places were actually green, wildly wealthy, and served as highly interconnected networks. Early humans didn't just survive in these environments, they engineered them into magnificent centers of global power. It's truly wild to think about. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. The empty desert myth. 2. Global highways of wealth. 3. Masters of water engineering. 4. Ancient American desert civilizations. 5. Climate change and collapse. And 6. Lessons beneath the sand. Section 1. The empty desert myth. When the Sahara was green. Think about this. Just 11,000 years ago, which is literally a blink of an eye in planetary history, the Sahara wasn't sand at all. It was this lush, green ecosystem of enormous lakes and grasslands where hippos, elephants, and early humans thrived. But as the climate shifted about 5,000 years ago, rainfall plummeted, and that green paradise began to fade into the nearly 9 million square kilometer sea of sand we know today. The desert wasn't always empty, it evolved. And more importantly, the people who stayed there evolved right alongside it. Section 2. Global highways of wealth, connecting the ancient world. Thousands. That's how many camels, those notoriously grumpy ships of the desert, made up a single massive trade caravan. The scale of this desert commerce was absolutely staggering. To put this into perspective, think of the legendary 1324 pilgrimage of Mali's ruler Mansa Musa. His caravan was so gigantic and he handed out so much gold along his journey to Mecca that he literally altered the local economies of the entire regions he passed through. It's like a single road trip crashing an entire economy. Just look at the sheer scale of global commerce happening right out there in the sand. Down in West Africa, the Kingdom of Ghana practically swam in gold, heavily taxing the massive trade that moved through the Sahara. Over in the Arabian Peninsula, kingdoms grew astonishingly wealthy just by controlling the intense global demand for frankincense and myrrh. And over in Central Asia, the Silk Road empires traded silk, spices, and revolutionary ideas across the harsh Gobi and Taklamakan deserts. The crucial point here? The desert acted as a bridge rather than a wall, connecting continents and forging incredibly powerful empires. Section 3. Masters of Water Engineering, Engineering Survival. Fogaras, Kanats, and Pukios. Okay, I know they sound entirely different, but they represent this incredible shared human genius. Separated by vast oceans and completely different timelines, ancient civilizations independently invented highly sophisticated underground tunnel systems. From the Garamantes in the Libyan Sahara to the ancient Persians to the Nazca in South America, they all figured out the absolute ultimate desert hack, capturing groundwater and moving it over huge distances without losing a single drop to the blazing sun. The engineering here was downright brilliant. Step 1, they would locate and capture seasonal groundwater, usually up near the mountains. Step 2, instead of moving it above ground where the intense heat would just steal it away, they painstakingly hand-dug underground tunnels to protect every single drop. Imagine the sheer stubbornness required to dig these out by hand. And finally, step 3, they delivered this preserved water to irrigate arid fields and supply completely bustling cities. These steps basically allowed civilizations to flourish in environments that logic tells us should have been totally uninhabitable. And, we absolutely can't talk about desert engineering without mentioning Petra. Yes, the Nabateans built breathtaking grand buildings carved right into rose-colored sandstone cliffs. We've all seen the pictures. But Petra's true genius wasn't its grand architecture, it was the invisible infrastructure beneath it. They essentially terraformed the sandstone cliffs, carving intricate channels, reservoirs, and cisterns directly into the rock to capture and store every single drop of rainfall. Without this unparalleled ability to hoard water, the magnificent city of Petra simply could not have existed, period. Section 4. Ancient American Desert Civilizations, thriving in the Southwest. Long before European arrival, the Ancestral Puebloans were the master architects of the American Southwest. They literally tucked massive, complex stone communities right into the cliff faces at places like Mesa Verde to protect themselves against the harsh elements. And over at Chaco Canyon, they constructed massive stone buildings with hundreds of rooms perfectly connected by extensive road networks. They adapted brilliantly to the dry climate, using terraced fields and stone structures to retain precious moisture for their crops. Hundreds of kilometers. That is the staggering length of the massive pre-Columbian canals built by the Hohokam civilization in modern-day Arizona. Some of these hand-dug canals were so large that multiple people could walk side by side right inside them. It is an astonishing scale of irrigation that proves the core rule of human history. Where water flows, civilization follows. Heading further south to the Atacama, which by the way is one of the driest places on Earth, the Nazca civilization left a truly fascinating dual legacy. Sure, we know them best for etching those massive, mysterious geoglyphs into the desert floor, giant birds and monkeys that are only visible from the sky. But their real secret to survival was their mastery of the earth below. They built underground puquios to capture groundwater, thriving off the exact same subterranean water techniques we saw the ancient Persians and Saharan kingdoms using entirely independently. It's wild how great minds think alike. Section 5. Climate change and collapse. When the water runs dry. Because the reality is, even the greatest engineers have their limits. When the environment changed too rapidly through shifting rainfall patterns or prolonged severe droughts, their carefully managed water resources simply ran dry. When an ecosystem pivots that suddenly, major population centers really have no choice but to be abandoned. And when you compound that severe environmental stress with human conflict, like when the mighty Silk Road oasis city of Merv was catastrophically destroyed by Mongol attacks in the 13th century, the collapse is absolute. It serves as a really powerful historical cautionary tale for us today. And finally, Section 6, Lessons Beneath the Sand, Uncovering the Future. What's amazing to me is that the desert is still giving up its secrets today. Modern archaeologists are literally peering right through the shifting dunes, using ground-penetrating radar, satellite imaging, artificial intelligence, and drone surveys. These cutting-edge technologies have actually helped locate hidden ancient river channels and legendary lost trading centers, like the fabled city of Ubar in Oman. The desert didn't just destroy history. In its completely dry sands, it effectively preserved it. So why does this matter to you and me right now? Well, adaptation, innovation, and a deep respect for environmental limits are absolutely non-negotiable for our modern climate survival. As we face our own global population growth, tricky resource management issues, and climate uncertainty, we have a lot to learn from them. The ancient desert civilizations succeeded only when they balanced their needs with nature, minimizing waste and managing supplies with extreme care. Understanding their survival strategies is immensely relevant as we navigate our own modern environmental challenges today.
Which really brings us to our core takeaway today. To quote, "History is often hidden in the places we least expect." The landscapes we once dismissed as totally barren, lifeless wastelands were actually the cradles of magnificent human ingenuity. These early peoples didn't just survive the desert, they conquered it, turning it into highways of global connection, centers of wealth, and hubs of astonishing engineering.
Which leaves us with one final fascinating question. With vast regions still completely unexplored and technology advancing every single day, what secrets remain hidden beneath the next dune? We are bound to rewrite history all over again. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.